All right, everyone. Today, we're going to dive into something, well, kind of crucial for everyone, really, cybersecurity in 2024.
Yeah, it's a big one. And honestly, we'll be looking at the stuff that everyone's got to know, especially looking ahead.
Absolutely. We're talking about the risks that businesses are worried about, the things you need to protect yourselves from, and the big trends that are changing everything. And to get into all of this, we're going to be using some pretty interesting data, right? Like we've got the Alliance Risk Barometer for 2024.
Yeah, the risk barometer, that's a gold mine of information.
It really is. And speaking of the Alliance Risk Barometer, there's something in there that kind of jumped out at me. You know, we hear a lot about like supply chain problems and the economy.
Right, those always seem to be top of mind.
Yeah, for sure. But the barometer, it actually says that those aren't the biggest worries for businesses right now.
Really? What is it then, if not those?
Cyber incidents, can you believe that? That's their number one risk, cyber incidents.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Everything is online now.
I guess so, yeah.
Think about it, banking, healthcare. I mean, even just ordering food. Every single thing relies on computers these days. If something goes wrong, it has a ripple effect everywhere. Businesses, the economy, even public safety, it's all connected.
True, true. But when we say cyber incidents, what exactly are we talking about? Sounds kind of like, something from a movie.
Well, it's a pretty broad term. It's more than just a hacker trying to get your password.
Okay, so it's broader than that.
Yeah, we're talking about anything that messes with digital systems. So like data breaches, malware attacks, even just things like websites crashing.
So it's like anything that throws a wrench in the works.
Exactly. Anything that disrupts these digital systems we rely on.
And it's happening more than we realize. It's crazy. Did you know that something like 78% of emails sent every day aren't legit? Billions of emails.
It's a minefield out there for sure.
Totally a minefield. And you know what? Speaking of actual examples, there was that attack on that hospital in France back in 2022, the Sud Francilian Hospital.
Oh, yeah, that one was interesting. It really shows how, like, even cyber criminals mess up sometimes.
What do you mean? What happened?
So the attackers, this group called Lockbit 3.0, they actually meant to hit up a private clinic, thinking they'd get a big payday, right?
So they were aiming for the money.
Exactly. But they accidentally targeted the public hospital instead.
Oh, wow. So even they make mistakes. But still, hitting a hospital, that's pretty low.
Yeah, it just shows you how important this all is, especially in healthcare.
Yeah.
The consequences of messing up, they're huge.
Absolutely. Okay, then there was that other attack, completely different scene, a casino, the MGM Resorts attack in 2023.
Oh, yeah, talk about high stakes, right?
Right. This attack, it shut down their systems, messed with the hotels, the bookings, even the casino games themselves. Can you imagine the chaos?
They estimated the cost was something like $8.4 million. Every single day, their systems were down.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a pretty expensive mistake.
It is, and what's interesting is how differently companies react. Like Caesars Entertainment, they got hit too, and they decided to pay the ransom.
Really? Just gave in?
It happens, but MGM, they decided to try and fix it themselves, without giving in to the attackers.
So it's like a gamble either way, right?
Yeah.
Do you pay or do you try to fix it yourself and hope for the best?
It's a tough call, and there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
But it shows the kinds of decisions businesses have to make when they're hit with this stuff. And it's not like this is anything new either.
You're right. It's been going on for a while.
It has. Things have changed, of course. It's gotten a lot more, intense, I guess you could say. To really understand it, it helps to look at how it all started.
Yeah, like a little history lesson on cybercrime.
Exactly. And if we're talking about big moments, Stuxnet back in 2010, that was a game changer. Targeting nuclear facilities, that was unheard of.
Yeah, that was a whole different level of scary. But then things shifted a bit, right? More towards stealing data, especially information about people. Like that Sony hack, the PlayStation Network, back in 2011, that was huge.
It was massive.
Yeah.
77 million users. Imagine their information just out there.
And then there was Ashley Madison, 2015. That one was personal, really personal information about people.
That was the thing, Suddenly it wasn't just about money or shutting things down. It was about using this stuff to target people directly, ruin their lives, basically.
And it just keeps getting bigger. Remember that bank heist in Bangladesh? 2016, I think it was. $81 million, gone.
That was wild, like something out of a movie. They found a way to exploit the whole global banking system.
Crazy. Makes you wonder what they'll target next. Speaking of, there was the Colonial Pipeline attack in 2021. Now, that hit close to home for a lot of people. Gas shortages, panic, it was a mess.
It was. It showed that these things, they have real world consequences. It's not just about
Uh-huh.
ones and zeros on a screen anymore.
Definitely not. It's like we've gone from attacking companies to attacking entire industries, even basic stuff like gas pipelines. So, what's next?
Well, there's a few things on the horizon. One of the big ones is this shift towards something called zero trust strategies.
Zero trust. Sounds kind of harsh. What is that?
It's basically like it sounds you don't trust anything automatically. It's this idea that every single user, every device, even if it's inside a company's network, you treat it as a potential threat.
So, even your own computer, your own phone, it's like, nope, don't trust it.
Yeah, exactly. Always verifying, always checking. It's about building security from the ground up rather than just relying on like firewalls and stuff.
That makes sense, especially with so many people working from home now. No more like everyone's safe behind the company walls kind of thing.
Exactly. By 2026, they're saying most companies will be using some kind of zero trust system. It's a big shift.
Wow. Okay. Zero trust. What else is coming down the line?
Well, this one is giving a lot of executives sleepless nights. It's the rise of cyber insurance, but specifically for like CEOs and board members.
Wait, what? Insurance for if their company gets hacked?
It's more about protecting them personally. Because in the past, cybersecurity wasn't really seen as like a boardroom issue, but now it totally is.
Yeah, it's not just an IT problem anymore. If a company gets hit with a data breach, everyone feels it.
Exactly. And as these attacks get bigger, more expensive, the people at the top, they're being held responsible.
So this insurance, it's their way of protecting themselves just in case.
Exactly. And by 2027, they say that most companies will have this kind of insurance for their leadership teams.
Wow, okay. Cyber insurance for the big bosses. That's something else. But we can't forget about the, well, elephant in the room, I guess. AI.
Yeah, AI is a whole other ballgame when it comes to cybersecurity.
It seems like AI is everywhere these days, so it makes sense that it end up here too. But how is AI being used in cybersecurity? Like, what's it actually doing?
It's still pretty early, but the potential is huge. Imagine like AI systems can spot threats as they happen, or even AI that can fix problems before the hackers even know they exist.
It sounds kind of sci-fi.
It does, doesn't it? But it's already happening. We've got AI that's way better at analyzing data than humans are. It can spot patterns, connect the dots.
So it's like having a superpower detective on your side.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, someone could use that same power for bad, right? Imagine an AI that could design even more powerful cyber attacks.
Oh, so it's like a double-edged sword. It can help us, but it could also hurt us.
Exactly. It's a new era for cybersecurity, that's for sure.
No kidding. From Stuxnet to AI-powered attacks. It's mind-blowing how fast this is all changing.
It is, but hey, that's what we're here for, to break it down and make it, understandable.
Well said. Now let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about, well, us. The humans in the middle of all this tech. So welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we were talking about the future of cybersecurity, how AI is going to change the game. But even with all this tech, the weakest link sometimes, it's still us humans.
You're absolutely right. It's easy to think of some super smart hacker behind every attack. But honestly, human error plays a huge role in this whole cybersecurity thing.
It's like they say to err is human, except when it comes to computers, those errors can cost a lot of money.
Absolutely. And we're not just talking about clicking on dodgy links either, though that's a big one.
Right, like those phishing emails where they're trying to trick you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People fall for those every day, unfortunately.
Right.
But it goes deeper than that. Sometimes it's about employees, accidentally leaking information, or even, believe it or not, intentionally messing with systems.
Wait, really? On purpose?
It happens more than you think. It's called insider threats, and it's a real problem for companies.
I guess if people are unhappy at work, that could be one way to get back, huh? But still, that's a big risk for businesses to take.
It is, and it highlights why training is so important. You got to make sure everyone knows the deal, what to do, what not to do, why it matters, the whole 9 yards.
It's not just about having the best software then, is it? It's about making sure people actually know how to use it.
Exactly. It's like having a fancy car with all the safety features, but if you don't use them, it's pointless.
True. But how do you get people excited about cybersecurity? It's not exactly like the most thrilling topic, right? It's all don't do this, don't do that.
It's a challenge, for sure. You got to make it relevant to people. Use examples, real stories that'll stick with them.
Like that hospital that got attacked by mistake.
Exactly. Something they can relate to. Or even just like reminding people to be careful about what they post online.
Because you never know who's watching, right?
Exactly. And training can't be boring either. Quizzes, games, simulations, whatever it takes to make it stick. Make it fun. Cybersecurity doesn't have to be all doom and gloom.
I like that. Make it fun. So we've talked about the human side of this, the good and the bad. But what about the financial side? Cybersecurity, it's got to be expensive, right?
It can be, yeah. But honestly, dealing with a cyber attack after it happens, that's a way more expensive than trying to prevent one in the first place.
It's like they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right?
Exactly. And those costs, they add up fast. Lost business, legal fees, damage to your reputation, you name it. It can be a nightmare.
It's not just about protecting data anymore. It's about protecting your whole business.
Exactly. It's essential. And like we were talking about, it's not just about tech. It's about people. It's about how you do things, the whole package.
So for someone listening, and they're probably feeling a bit overwhelmed right now, what's the most important thing they can do? Like to protect themselves, their business, where do they start?
That's a great question. I'd say, first and foremost, stay informed. Know what the threats are, how they're changing.
But there's so much information out there. How do you even keep up with it all?
I hear you. It can be overwhelming. Resources like that Alliance Risk Barometer we talked about, those are gold. They give you the big picture of what's going on.
Right. So do your homework, basically.
Exactly. Knowledge is power.
Mm.
But it's not just about reading reports. You got to actually do something with that knowledge, right?
Okay, so what else? What are some practical steps people can take?
Well, strong security protocols are key. We talked about zero trust, but there's also multi-factor authentication, keeping your software updated, encrypting your data. These are all essential.
Right, so multiple layers of protection.
Exactly. And never underestimate good old-fashioned employee training. Make sure everyone's on the same page, knows what to look out for.
Cybersecurity awareness, we talked about that. It's got to be everyone's responsibility, right?
Absolutely. And finally, build a culture of cybersecurity in your organization. Make it a priority from the top down.
So it's not enough to just have the tech. You got to have the right mindset, too.
Exactly. And you got to be able to adapt. What works today might not work tomorrow.
Because the bad guys, they're always changing their tactics, right?
Exactly. It's a constant game of cat and mouse. You got to anticipate, you got to adjust, and always be a step ahead.
So it's about learning, adapting, staying one step ahead of the game.
That's it. That's cybersecurity in a nutshell. But even with all the preparation in the world, sometimes things still go wrong. No one's perfect and systems fail. So what happens when a company does get attacked?
What then? What should they do?
Well, that's where having a plan is crucial. You need to know how to respond quickly and effectively to minimize the damage.
It's like having a fire drill. You hope you never have to use it, but if that alarm goes off, you better know what to do. It's like having a fire drill. You hope you never have to use it, but if that alarm goes off, you better know what to do.
Exactly. You got it. It's not a matter of if, but when with these cyber attacks. And honestly, being prepared can make all the difference.
So we've covered a lot today, from the threats out there to like the future of cybersecurity and even what to do if things go wrong. But if there's just one thing you want our listeners to walk away with, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, I think the most important thing is to remember that cybersecurity isn't like a finish line you cross. It's a journey.
Okay, journey. I like that. What do you mean by that?
It means you're always learning, always adapting, right?
Yeah.
Because the threats are changing too.
So it's more about staying agile, informed, being ready for anything. It's not about building a fortress and that's it, right?
Exactly. The bad guys aren't standing still, so neither can we.
It's like that game of cat and mouse, except the mouse is getting smarter.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. You got to be one step ahead.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest takeaway for me today is that knowledge is power. With the right info, being proactive, businesses, and really anyone can navigate this whole digital world safely.
I completely agree. At the end of the day, cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility.
Well said. And that's it for today's deep dive into the world of cybersecurity. We hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, stay safe online, be careful out there, and keep asking questions.